Ah, meine Liebchen, wie geht's? I have finally found scientific proof with how you can identify the left-leaning profile on the Twitter. Despite that leftists are against stereotyping, they really love joining a collective that has signifiers in common to one another. So, I have decided to hide the person's identity because it's not about them, it's about science. And this is not a life-changing event type of video, it's just a video where we make some observations. It's very interesting because when I put the pieces together, you're going to be like, oh, I knew about that, I just couldn't articulate. Didn't know how to express it. Now, for some reason, I don't know why, if you go on Twitter and you find left-leaning activists, and I'm not saying moderate left, I'm not saying people who aren't capitalists, let's put it like that, okay? Like the extreme far left that want to tear down the system, destroy society, like those people. They usually have one or two of the signifiers that we're going to notice here, but this person managed to get all of them to the point where if I were to write a textbook, I would definitely put this person's avatar for other people to learn, because they managed to have like literally every single one. There isn't one out there that this person doesn't have. So let's look at the anatomy of a left-leaning person on Twitter. Usually they will have a picture of their background with some form of activism. It can be anywhere between a left-leaning motto or a couple of people going out and protesting. Now this is different than normal people because normal people have a job and they don't have the time to do this shit. But when you look at left-leaning people, well, that's pretty much what they do. And in this case, we got a protest and a left-leaning message that is not just progressive, but incredibly progressive. It's not just trans lives matter, it's black trans lives matter. So very progressive, you know, this person wants to show how empathetic they are and how they are trying to defend the marginalized. So you need to look at them with admiration, basically, because you don't do that shit, okay? You're a bad person. You do not go there and fight for other people, and your silence is violence. So basically, they are just better than you because they are doing this type of activism that you don't. You just go to work and pay your taxes, so you're a bigot. Then when you look at the avatar, now this is very interesting. I noticed a lot of left-leaning people have cartoons as their avatar. Most often than not, it's a col art stuff, but I've seen anime every now and then, even though like most people would think anime is right-wing. So you can make the mistake. Like if you're going to stereotype, don't use the anime as a signifier because that alone doesn't mean anything. But I noticed that especially for individuals that happen to be men, so not like this person, but like other people, they put a cartoon in order to make them look less menacingly. They put a cartoon in order to make them look like, oh, look, I'm so harmless, ladies. Like, you do not be afraid of me. I am completely and utterly innocent. Look what a beautiful cartoon I have. There used to be the soy face, but then they got called out and they replaced the soy face with the cartoon. And by the way, speaking of soy face, did you notice that when people smile, it's more like an ee? That's the sound. It's an ee. But the soy face is an ah. It's almost like an expression of pain. It's and if you look at a person who smiles, they usually smile with their eyes. Like that is the difference between the corporate smile, the politician smile, and the normal person smile. Like the normal person, when they smile, they smile with their eyes because it's something happy, right? The soy face, if you look at the eyes, there is a window to an empty soul. It's just cold and harsh behind the window of the soul even there. Just another observation. Now, as we go down and we notice something else that's important, okay? An unexperienced person, if you are uneducated into the art of leftism, you just go down directly to the meat of it. But that would be a mistake because you'd be missing out. Do you know what's important? No, it's not the name. It's the emoticons, okay? Like the emoticons themselves symbolize leftist causes. So we got the black flag of communism, we got the rose of socialism, and then they also want to show that they have empathy and compassion, which you don't, bigot. And they have empathy and compassion in this case for people who happen to be disabled and for people who happen to be LGBT. So they want to promote to the world. They want to scream from the bottom of their lungs like, I care! I care! You know, that's why they do it. Because if you care and you don't show to other people, did you really care to begin with? So all of this, all of the activism and the things, it's just a person that cares. They have compassion. If they see you in a ditch and you're struggling to get out and you're gasping for air, like, please help me, they will take a picture of you and put it on Instagram with a sad face. And they'll be like, please help this person. Society has placed this person in a ditch. We need to raise awareness in order to help them out. Now, they won't actually help you out or give you money or try to pick you out from the ditch. No, but they will signal boost, is what they call it. Signal boost. Yeah. Now, we go to the meat of it. The most important aspect, the white man, Marx, Karl Marx. They love the patriarchal white man. I think it's the beard of the patriarchy that Karl Marx was sporting that gets these people like, they love it. And then it's the mental illnesses. Now, the mental illnesses is something very interesting, okay? Because they used to be on Tumblr, if you guys remember. Like, before the pronouns. There was a time before the pronouns. History is erasing that time, but it existed, trust me. It was on Tumblr. They would have the mental disabilities in their bio. Do you know why they had mental disabilities in their bio? The same reason they have pronouns in their bio. I'm not kidding. It's to create a safe environment for people with mental illnesses. Like, they wanted to, and this is like what it was told to me, okay? Like, I don't know if that's why it was. They wanted to normalize the mental illnesses, because if you go around and you see everyone having mental illnesses, then I guess like you don't feel alone anymore. Now, there was a study, surprisingly enough, there was a study which actually shows that when it comes to mental illnesses, people who are left-leaning, like normal, moderate leftists, are the same with like people on the center, right-wingers and far-right. Like, all of these people are on the same level when it comes to mental illnesses. But then when you look at the communists and the socialists and the extreme far left, the mental illnesses go like, boo! And I think the reason might be either that they're genuinely suffering from afflictions, or they self-diagnose. And that might also be a thing. Because like, you need to understand, in an ideology where if you claim you're suffering from an illness, then you're oppressed. And because you're oppressed, people have to treat you better. Then it's in your own self-interest to just find out, like, come on, I must have one. Like, please tell me I do have one. And maybe that's the thing, like maybe they self-diagnose. Because I even remember there was a controversy where there was like this blogger that was writing about autism, and they had a lot of people watching them, and he was left-leaning. And at one point he got tired because people kept asking him to show that he has been diagnosed. And he went like, what do doctors know? Like, I know my body better than a doctor. And it's like, okay. And it's also like a shield, I suppose. Because when you have dumb opinions, right? Like when you say something really dumb, like really, really dumb, like, we need to seize the property of people. We need to seize the wealth, tax people more. Like dumb shit like that. That enrages normal people. When you say that, well, if you have a mental illness, it's kind of understandable why you would say it. And people that just contradict you seem like they're assholes. You wouldn't say something bad to a person that actually is suffering from things. So, in this case, we got PTSD. Okay, the person was in Vietnam. Bipolar disorder, chronic fatigue syndrome, seasonal affective disorder, ADHD, and here comes the worst of all, like the worst mental illness, PhD candidate. I literally feel sorry for this person. I would not contradict them. And after that, you also have the leftist causes. All right, because like, again, there's no point in championing a cause if people don't know that you're doing it. So BLM, ACAB, ban guns, end gender, and then we get she, them. And then like the biggest signifier of all, they're from California, yeah? Dreaming of New York City. That is just mwah. And then when you look at how they post, this is unbelievably ableist and white supremacist, So that's pretty much how I would describe the archetype leftist. Like usually if you get one or two of them, you're pretty spot on. If you get more than three, then you can even start betting. Like you can put money on it. But by the way, I noticed like something else that's interesting. You go on the Twitter and you look at the things that are trending. And you find things like the Holocaust, white supremacy, Nazis, like all these things are trending. And then when you go to another platform, because you're starting to think like, man, like people really are so concerned about these issues, right? And then when you go on a platform like Parler and you see trending, 10 reasons why golf is better than sex. And you're like, this sounds more like normal people talk. I mean, it's boomerish, it's dumb, but like, if I go to a bar, that's kind of what people talk about. I don't know, like, man, is it weird that in my country at least, okay, I haven't heard people in real life talk about Nazis, communists, any type of supremacy. They just don't talk about these things. The Holocaust, it never gets brought up in conversations. Must be privilege. People usually talk about what they're going to put food on the table, how they're going to manage to make more money. They talk about the football that happened last night. That's kind of the things that people talk about normally. But on Twitter, holy shit! I mean, Jesus fucking Christ! You think Lenin is about to unleash his little useful idiots in order to take over America? Everyone has a hammer and a sickle and a black flag and red and black and oh Dios mío. Let me know what you think. See you guys in the comment section.